Alright. Hello guys. First, I would like to preface this with saying that I am not a professional YouTuber. I'm just a gamer who likes gaming, but I also like helping people out when I can. So there won't be any fancy editing in this video. I'm just gonna info dump, and that's just how it's gonna be. Basically this video is, I guess you could call it a beginner's guide. I think it's more of a guide about like things I wish I knew about STALCRAFT when I started, because I'm no expert at this game. I don't even have any blue gear yet. I'm still wearing all greens, so I'm no expert. So I'm just gonna go through everything I can think of, and that's how it's gonna be. So first off, first thing I can think of, one, anything with a locked symbol in your inventory will not drop upon you dying. Which means when you go over here and you talk to a supplier who sells ammo, anything that has a locked symbol on it, or like this like shield looking symbol, this will not drop when you die. Which means you can buy these packs of ammo, and these packs of ammo won't drop when you die. So while you're out in the field, you can open it up and you can use these packs of ammo to give you ammo as you need it. So you don't have to carry like, 500, 600 rounds of ammo on you that you lose, and then you have to buy it all over again. Going off of that, you can actually hotkey this ammo. So if you press like 4, for example, now when you hold C, C is in cat, it will show up in this radial menu. And so you can actually just hold C, mouse over this, and boom, it gives you ammo into your inventory. I'd also like to point out that you can actually do this and that ammo that gets placed in your inventory, you can do this while you're reloading. You can do this while you're looting. Actually, I don't know about looting, but say like you're in the middle of reloading your gun and you've noticed that your total ammo is low. You can hold C and do this during the middle of a reload animation. It doesn't lock you out of reloading. Um, for example. Also, your total ammo is listed in the lower left-hand corner. As you can see, I have 9mm expanding ammo, and I have 53 ammo in my magazine and 47 ammo in reserve in my inventory. You hold R to swap ammo between if you have different types of ammo. Second thing, uh, to upgrade to upgrade items and unlock new items, you can either come over here and you can talk to, I forgot what these guys are called. I forgot what their official name is, but this is where you can view like the barter trees for like unlocking new weapons, unlocking new armor and stuff. One thing to note is that you can actually view that tree no matter where you are on the map. You can just double click on any of these merchants to view this tree if you want at any time. You don't have to actually talk to them. It's the same with the auction house. When you do unlock the auction house, you can just press K. K is in, God, what words start with K? Knock? No? Anyway, um, you can press K to view the auction house at any time, and this lets you search for things. Like, so say you find a fireball artifact in the field, and you want to know how much that sells for. You can bring up your PDA and search the auction house. You won't, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can't buy anything. Oh no, you can. Okay, cool. Um, but you can't. I don't think you can put an auction up out in the field, obviously, because then you could just sell stuff as you're out there. But you can check prices, and so that can let you know, like, oh man, this thing that I found is so expensive, I better head back to base immediately. Secondly, as far as I know, there's no fast travel in STALCRAFT. There are like teleportation bubbles, but I don't believe you can choose where they teleport you to, so I wouldn't really call it fast travel. So highly recommend when you have the option to buy stamina increasing like drugs and energy drinks, because this 5 minute drink doubles your stamina, and this makes travel, it's so much less painless when you can basically sprint almost like, for a solid 5 minutes straight without any issues, or without having to wait to regen stamina or anything. Because when you die in this game, you spawn all the way back at whatever base you were last at, and you're gonna have to walk the whole way back to where you were, and it takes a long. It can be real like draining sometimes. So highly recommend using stamina drugs. Side quests and the main quest is important because the main quest rewards a lot of gear. So, for example, there's a main quest that you get in the dump. I forgot what the exact name is, but the quest marker will be it'll be right about here. This is where you get this quest here in the dump is what gives you get a free metal detector. So you don't need to worry about crafting a metal detector in the actual in the barter tree. So under devices, you don't need to craft these because you're given one for free. So don't worry about crafting any of the metal detectors. You also metal detectors are only needed in the northern regions. Like you can use a metal detector to find copper in the dump and aluminum in Dark Valley. As far as I know, there's nothing you need a metal detector for in this area, so don't worry about needing a metal detector or not in this area. Next up, premium. I guess I should mention that. So there is an in-game shop, and you can buy premium. Premium is pretty beneficial, because you get more resources, which means you can craft things faster. You get more resources for sale, which means you make more rubles. And this one's kind of big, earning 15% more reputation. Reputation at bases is very important. So as you can see, I am level 5 at the garage base, which is max level. And some of these bonuses are pretty huge. Like, this full merchant inventory, this means that merchants not only sell new goods, but actually no, yeah. So some items at a merchant will be locked behind reputation. So for example, in a further northern base, I can't buy incendiary ammo yet because I'm not a high enough level. So that reputation is important, and premium can make that process go faster. Also, the higher reputation you are, the more things sell for. So instead of earning like 5 grand after going out, you might earn like 7.5 grand or something. So premium definitely has its benefits for getting reputation faster. Um, and then as for side quests that are assigned from like NPCs, there are I think there's a couple that reward like weapons and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know what those are. I haven't played enough to know what those are, so I'm sorry about that. Um, but as far as I can tell, most side quests in an area aren't worth it, or like they're not worth your time once you have maxed out your reputation for this area. Because the main benefit of doing a side quest and the main quest is that side quests give like, so for example, this dog den here, when I if I cleared out this dog den, this would give me maybe like 2 to 3 reputation points. But a side quest might give me like 40 to 50 reputation points. So side quests are great for leveling up the base in that area, but once you've leveled that base up and you've maxed it out, my personal opinion, side quests aren't really that useful. They're not worth like the time. Um, it would probably be beneficial if the devs made it so you could see what the quest reward was for doing it, because maybe then you'd know if it is a weapon or not, and you'd know if it was worth your time. But definitely stick with doing the main quest whenever you can, whenever it's available, because the main quest, there's a lot of free stuff you get from the main quest. So, for example, in my storage, like this gun was free. The armor, the armor here this is science armor. I upgraded this armor from armor that was given to me because of a quest. This suppressed AK was from a quest. This AK was also from a quest. So there's plenty of, and then this shotgun was also from a quest. So there's a lot of things that you can get from questing, especially mostly the main quest, almost entirely the main quest actually. And that is why you should do it whenever you can. Another big tip: in the top right hand corner, you see the mini map. On the top left hand corner of the mini map, you see a number. That is how many players are within a certain radius of you. I'm not entirely sure what that radius is. I want to say it's like maybe. I want to say it's from like maybe here to that guy over there, maybe a little farther. Um, but basically, it detects friendlies and enemies. Basically, the lore. I think the lore behind it is that it can your PDA can detect other people's PDAs. So whenever there's any player, friendly or enemy, within a certain distance of you, that number will go up. So that means that when you're out exploring or something, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you'll hear a beep. You'll hear a beep, by the way, whenever someone's in range or not. Whenever you hear that beep, that means that someone has just entered into your radius. So, for example, I'm gonna leave the base and you'll hear the beep. Okay, I lied. Interesting. Maybe it doesn't beep when when the players are in a safe zone. Anyway, carrying on. I'll talk about my next point while I move somewhere. Next point. Next point. Oh, so I'm going to talk a little bit about weapons and armor now. Now, I don't know what is. I'm still discovering for myself what, like, the best weapons and armor are. Now, from my experience, weapons. What the heck? Weapons. When it comes to weapons, it's not really that important. From my experience, you get more than enough money to buy ammo. So you don't really have to choose your weapon based on the ammo type. Almost all of the weapons, except bolt action rifles, are not very good for PvE, in my opinion. They're good at taking out enemy, like, human NPCs, but they're pretty bad at taking out, like, the animals that are in PvE, because dogs and rats are pretty small and they're fast. And then the bigger animals take 2 shots to kill instead of 1 shot, so sometimes you only get to kill like 2 animals and then you need to reload pretty much. But other than that, like these like DMR type weapons, like the SVT and the SKS, shotguns, SMGs, assault rifles, everything is pretty adept at killing things in PvE, in my experience. When it comes to PvP, I would say bolt actions are pretty good because bolt actions don't have any damage drop off. You can see at the bottom there, that orange line, that's the damage drop off for the Mosin. So basically, it deals the same damage all the way up to 200 meters. So Mosins, or not Mosins, but like bolt action rifles are pretty good in PvP. But everything else, like anything within like, if you're within 30 to 40 meters of someone, almost any gun will shred them. Especially if you have like armor piercing ammo, or if they're not wearing like the best of the best like combat armor, at that level. Because I'm using a simple PP Bison with expanding ammo, and I have killed plenty of people. So I wouldn't really worry too much about. I would just use a weapon you want to use. All of my friends have do decent in PvP, and they all use like a bunch of them are using the Mosin, some are using the SVT. I'm using the PP Bison, and we're all, I would say, like average to above average success in PvP. So I would just use whatever weapon you feel is most fun for you, because the way weapons work is that well, the way that all crafting works in this game is that you craft one of the old one, like the basic version, and then to craft the next weapon, you use the old version of it. So, for example, to craft the SVT-40, you use the worn SVT to craft it. So, because of that, you want to stay within, like, usually if you craft a worn SVT, you're going to want to craft the SVT and stay within that tree, or within that, like, that branch, so to speak. Because you can build a weapon. Sometimes you have the ability to build something in the barter tree without requiring the previous iteration of that item. However, that's not always the case. So for example here, the only way I can craft an SVT-40, because there's only one offer. So the only way I can craft this gun is if I crafted the previous gun. So because of this system, it means that it's not efficient to branch out to multiple weapons. Because if you say you build like a Warren SVT, and then you build a DP, and then you also build like a Mosin or a shotgun or something, like if you want to upgrade all three of those weapons, it's going to take you an enormous amount of crafting materials to do it. So you're basically better off choosing a single weapon tree and just sticking with that weapon tree. So for example, me, I'm in the submachine gun category. I built the Bison, and now I'm waiting to build the P90. That's just what I'm doing. That's my plan. So for my friends, like some of them, like they went the Mosin route, and they're just going to stick with the bolt action route all the way to the end of the tree, all the way down here. So that would be my recommendation. Just stick with something, and just stick with that weapon. As for armor, it's pretty much the same thing. I would stick with so if you, from my personal experience, if all you care about, if you don't really care about being like optimal in PvP, I would go with science armor, because there's plenty of places around the map that you cannot access unless you have high enough radiation protection or bioinfection protection, etc., etc. You need to have high enough protections to not die to those biohazards or environmental hazards, whatever you want to call them. Because of that, if you only want to focus on progressing and farming and PvE, I would go with the science suit. You will die faster to other players, for sure. That will happen. But I'm not going to lie, if you catch someone off guard, or someone catches you off guard, even if they have some of the best armor in the game, if you headshot them, they're probably dead anyway. So it's, in this game, it's definitely more of a case of who saw who first than they hadn't, like, I have insane armor, I can't die. So I wouldn't really worry about it that much. And so yeah, focus on this if you want to do PvE. If you want to focus on PvP, you can obviously go for the combat armor tree. One benefit of going with combat armor, from my experience with armor, this is cheap. So for example, this garage level 4 combat armor is 5 copper wires, and you can see these numbers here. Now if I go to the explorer section and go to the garage level 4 armor, this is almost a double the amount of copper wires that you need to make the combat armor. So that was 13 copper wires. This is only 5. So copper wires are much harder to get than rusty mold and crapite, for example. So building this combat armor is easier and cheaper than building the equivalent explorer armor or the equivalent science armor, because this requires a bunch of aluminum. So it's easier to farm for the early combat armor, which is one benefit. So you get the most bullet protection that is available at this stage of the game, while also it costs less. So there's that benefit. As for explorer armor, do not go for the exoskeleton. I have been told that, spoilers ahead, skip the next 5 seconds. I've probably already spoiled it already, so it might be too late. Anyway, this exoskeleton you get rewarded for in the main quest. You get this rewarded to you in the main quest, so don't build this. I've been told that the Scat 9M is the meta armor for endgame, because there's these things called artifacts that you can basically, it's basically like enchanting your gear in any other game. You can put a artifact like container on your armor, and then that container can hold artifacts that give you bonuses. I haven't gotten into the whole artifact thing. I don't know how to do that yet, so I can't comment on that. I'm sorry. What else? Okay, another thing to mention. If you kill someone in PvP, you will get a lost backpack. So when you get to this section of the map, if you're a bandit, it's up here, I believe, and if you're a stalker, it'd be down here. These bases are the first bases where you will have access to the auction house. And so you can come onto the auction house right here on your PDA or talk to this guy, and you can go to the My Backpacks section. So when someone kills you, they can take your backpack, and what this backpack contains the barter materials. So any material that is used to craft things in the barter tree is considered like a barter item. So these are my barter items, for example. And if you're carrying barter items on you when you die, it goes into this little bag called a lost backpack. And enemies and friendlies cannot do anything with that backpack except sell it to the fence or auction it. They can't take the contents of it. So sometimes what people do is, so for example, if you kill someone and they have a lost backpack that's full of it's full of very rare barter materials. Like say you kill someone and they've got 60 copper wires on them. You can go to the auction house and you can talk to this guy. You can go to the auction house and you can search copper. So you can see a spool of copper wire is 150,000 rubles. That's a lot of rubles, and this is only 20 copper. So if you killed someone and their backpack had 60 copper in it, you can say to yourself, "Oh wow, they have 60 copper. They probably would pay an arm and a leg to get that copper back." Now, no one else can open that backpack. Only the owner of the backpack can unpack its contents. So you could sell that backpack on the auction house, and you could sell it for maybe like 80 to 100 grand, because you know that person really wants that copper, and they might buy their backpack back from the auction house. And this filter on the auction house is specifically made to find your own backpack if someone puts it up for sale. This will only show your backpack. So this is one of the benefits of PvP, is that if you kill someone in an area where there's valuable materials to be farmed, you could potentially take their backpack and sell it back to them for a lot of cash. Okay, next thing. Don't upgrade your NVGs, in my opinion. These are the NVGs. These are the basic ones that you get at the start of the game. They have like a yellow tinge to them. I find these easier to see things at night. The tier 2 NVGs, let me see if I can find them. Here they are. These are the tier 2 NVGs. Basically the same thing, but green. I actually think this makes it harder to acquire people, especially considering most of the areas in this game have vegetation. And I don't want to have a green hue painted over an already green landscape. So I recommend not upgrading your NVGs and keeping on the basic ones. Okay, I'm going to try and wrap this video up because I've exhausted all the topics I can think of. And it's already super long. So your metal detector, you can charge at the generator. You charge it, and that's how you can keep looking for stuff. That'll get taught to you in the main quest anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Oh, once you have a high enough reputation, you'll unlock the announcement board here, and you'll also unlock the courier mission guy over here. So you can get daily quests if you this is another bonus of premium. If you have premium, there's 2 premium contracts available here, and there's 3 premium contracts available in the bar farther north. And premium contracts are unique in that you can actually choose what item you get rewarded as the quest reward. So, for example, I need copper wire for one of the attachments I'm trying to build. And copper wire is a pretty rare resource, and it's especially expensive to buy from the auction house. So because of that, I am just questing for it instead, because that is safer for me. And that's a bonus of premium. Daily quests in the base in the cordon and daily quests in the bar are separate from one another. So you can actually do daily quests in this area and daily quests in this area in the same day. It's not like taking a quest here won't use up a quest farther north, for example. And then finally, there is also a interactive map that you can find on Google called STALCRAFTmap.net. It has locations for all of the copper and aluminum spawns marked on the map, as well as shelters where you can hide from emissions. And you'll find out what an emission is in the tutorial and stuff, or you'll just die to the one, die to one. But anyway, so these white cache, these white markers, these are caches where you can find copper and aluminum. I've marked these myself. So I mark these in each area so I know when I should be paying attention to the beeping from my metal detector. That's just like a small tip that you can use to make farming easier. Also, previously I talked about weapons and how you should stick with 1 to 2 maybe. You can actually upgrade those weapons. If you come over here to the mechanic, you can go to modifications and you can place your gun here, and if you have tools, you can upgrade your weapon. Now, you get 5 common tools from a main quest, I believe, and then you can use those to upgrade your gun. Once I upgraded my gun to +3, the chance of success became 50%, and so I stopped doing it. I'm not sure how high you can go. I also don't know what spare parts are. I don't have anything called spare parts as far as I can tell in my inventory. So I don't quite know how to make use of that. Um so yeah, anyway. Not sure about that, but that's how you upgrade your weapon if you would like. And so upgrades on your weapon will also carry over to the next weapon, I've been told. So for example, when I upgrade this Bison into a P90, my P90 will already be +3. Okay. Following that. Oh, also, whenever an emission happens, artifacts like these will spawn in the world. From what I can tell, they spawn in areas that have a lot of anomalies. So, for example, there's a lot of anomalies and environmental hazards here and here. And also in the dump, there is environmental hazards here, I believe. And I thought there was one more area. But basically, right here. So anywhere where there's a lot of anomalies like black holes, vortexes, stuff like that, um, artifacts can spawn. So after an emission happens, you can rush those areas and you can try and see if there's some artifacts there. And you can also, once you get an artifact, you can immediately look it up on the auction house like I showed at the beginning of the video. And you can see, oh, hey, this artifact's worth like 80 grand. I better get the hell out of here. So that is, and I think I'm done. That's everything I got. That's all I can think of. And then there's one more NPC here. You can take missions from this guy. He'll give you a backpack, and you have to take that backpack to whatever place he tells you to go. I usually don't do these that often because if you die with the backpack on, you basically lose so you pay him 2 grand to take this backpack, and then if you succeed, he gives you 2 grand. So most of the time, this isn't worth it because if you die, you just lose money and you don't complete the quest. So, I don't do those that often unless I'm really desperate for the materials. But other than that, good luck, guys, and I hope this video was helpful. I'm sorry I said and so much. I can't help it. It's just a filler while I'm thinking of what to say next. And I apologize for the video being so long because of my complete lack of editing skill. And have a good day. All right, goodbye.